Back to the tropics. It is staying active. Maria has been upgraded to a hurricane. So now we've got Hurricane Maria, Hurricane Jose, two to watch for as we go on into this next week. The latest on Jose, 90-mile-per-hour winds moving off to the north at 9 miles per hour. And it is still 300 miles, over 300 miles southeast of Cape Hatteras. As we travel through the week, middle of the week, and certainly later on in the week, the Northeast will have some rain, at least from this. Of course, the riptide situation will be something to watch. It looks to curve back out into the Atlantic. Meanwhile, Maria is another problem we're going to have to watch. Moving off to the northwest, 15 miles an hour. Right now, 75-mile-per-hour winds. Look how quickly, though, Maria does upgrade to a major hurricane as she moves into the Caribbean. So here we go again. The Caribbean getting hit with yet again a major hurricane Thursday, Friday. It's by Dominican and into Haiti, and then we'll continue to watch to see what happens after that. A U.S. impact, there is a big question mark because this would not happen until later on next week. But two models, Europeans done pretty well lately. This one has it pushing closer to the Carolinas. We'll need to keep an eye on that.
5 miles per hour. And the pressure is down to about 994 millibars as it continues its west-northwest track as of 8 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Also, you have Lee out here farther to the east, moving to the west at 7 miles per hour, and its winds are at 40 miles per hour. Now, Lee is not forecasted to ever get anywhere near the United States. At least that's what the forecast is now. Lee is not anything from what we're seeing right now that we're going to have to worry about. It's going to end up slingshotting on back up here to the northeast Atlantic Ocean. And Maria is again forecasted to go up in this area here to take a similar track as Irma did, and it's going to be a pretty strong hurricane. At least that's what the forecasts are, because there's a lot of warm waters down here. Jose is going to continue to fumble around up here in this area around the eastern seaboard of the United States. So Jose will be a big rainmaker, probably some flooding and some coastal erosion from the waves. But that's about it as far as Jose is concerned. As Hurricane Jose pushes northward in the Atlantic Ocean, far off the east coast, another system has formed, Tropical Storm Maria in the Caribbean, and could well follow Irma's destructive path toward Florida as a full-blown hurricane. Now, at 5 p.m. on Saturday, the National Hurricane Center upgraded the one-time disturbance to Tropical Depression Maria and said it was 620 miles east-southeast of the Lesser Antilles, moving west at 20 miles per hour, and it was packing maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. Now, a hurricane watch was issued for the Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts, and Nevis in Montserrat Islands, a route followed by Irma as it moved westward. Now, a tropical storm watch was in effect for the St. Lucia Island chain area around Barbados and St. Vincent as well. Hurricane conditions are possible within the hurricane watch area by Monday night or Tuesday, with tropical storm conditions possible on Monday. Now, the National Hurricane Center went on to say, although forecast tracks can change dramatically, as we saw with Irma in some cases over the coming week, maps on Saturday show the storm moving on a Irma-like path over Puerto Rico on Wednesday and Hispaniola on Thursday morning, heading straight toward the Florida Keys again. Now, Hurricane Jose, meanwhile, was 485 miles southeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, moving north at 6 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of around 80 miles per hour. The center said interest from North Carolina to New England should monitor the storm's progress and advised that tropical storm watches may be issued in the next day or two for portions of the area being along the east coast. Okay, so here's the projected path of Jose, as you can see, all the way up until Thursday at 8 a.m. Now, as you can see here within this cone here, there is a possibility that Jose will affect New York City up in that area, or around Massachusetts. There's a chance that it will happen. But I will tell you that if it does affect these areas directly, it won't be a very strong tropical system. It won't be a very strong hurricane at all. It'll just be a category 1. And there's absolutely no chance of it strengthening once it gets up in this area because of the much cooler waters that are up here compared down to the Caribbean or around Florida. All right, guys, just to give you an idea of the sea surface temperatures up here where Jose is. Jose is right in this area here. And as you can see, the sea surface temperatures are much cooler up here in this area versus 80, almost 90 degrees down here. In these areas, you have much cooler temperatures up here toward New York and the eastern seaboard. So whatever category hurricane Jose is, which will just be a category 1 hurricane, barely, that's what it's going to stay at once it does get up into this area, because the sea surface temperatures doesn't support it strengthening much after that at all. Now, if it was moving, say 20 miles per hour, 25 miles per hour, something like that, and it was a category 3, if it was heading up in that area, then it would be something very big to worry about, because it's moving much faster, and it would be at that time theoretically a much stronger storm, so it would cause much more damage. But this storm is barely moving, and it's barely a category 1 hurricane. I mean, it is something to keep an eye on, but it's not going to be anything to worry about compared to what Irma was down in Florida, because again, the sea surface temperatures just do not support that hurricane strengthening really at all. Now, as we look at the WRF Tropical Atlantic System model here, the WRF model, and it goes all the way through Tuesday, it has Jose parked right up here, right off the coast of America here toward New York City along the eastern seaboard there. And like I said, even if it does hit in that area, it's going to bring a lot of heavy rains. The category 1 hurricane force winds they'll bring to that area, and obviously some flooding concerns and stuff of that nature. But it will not be anything like at all what Irma was down in Florida. The bigger picture, the thing that needs to be watched more closely, obviously, would be Maria down here, which is in much warmer waters and taking a track similar to what Irma took. Now, as we look at Maria, the WRF model also has it coming up into this same area as Irma did. And again, these waters down here are much warmer compared to the waters up here. So there will be some strengthening going on with Maria as it continues its trek toward the northwest on its current path. All right, real quick, I want to pull this map up to show you, to give you a better idea of what the sea temperatures are out here, where Maria is versus where Jose is up here. Now, Jose is still in some, fairly warm waters up here. It's in the 70s and 80s up here where Jose is right now. But as you can see, if it moves further north here up toward New York and closer to the coast areas there, the temperatures are down in the 70s and 60s, guys. It's not very favorable for hurricanes at all in this part of the Atlantic Ocean. Whereas down here where Maria is, it's down in the mid 80s and even gets warmer as it approaches up toward Florida. So I just wanted to give you a perspective of how much cooler the waters are up where Jose is versus how much warmer the waters are down here where Maria is. And so it's just not going to actually favor any major development of Jose up in this area at all. Okay, so here are the forecasted wave heights here, according to these models, the Atlantic wave heights. And as you can see, with Jose, there's going to be some wave activity going on up here. And it has been going on up here for several days because Jose has been in this area for a while. So we're looking at anything from 9 to 12 feet waves around the coastal areas here associated with Jose as it continues to kind of circle around up there in the same spot. Now, Maria obviously are going to have more extreme waves as it is a much more powerful hurricane as it approaches the United States. And some of the extreme wave heights there, we're talking anywhere from around the center area, anywhere from 15 to 30 feet waves as you get closer to the center of the storm. Right now, the forecast models don't exactly know where Maria is going to go. So we'll just have to keep watching Maria, as it is a much more dangerous storm than Jose will ever be, just to give you some perspective on that with the wave situation. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Leave your comments below this video.
Some of the Caribbean islands devastated by Hurricane Irma are preparing themselves for a possible second major storm in 2 weeks. Tropical Storm Maria was upgraded to a Category 1 hurricane force on Sunday by the U.S. National Hurricane Center. It is currently following roughly the same path as Irma, and is expected to strengthen over the next 48 hours. As a result, hurricane warnings have been issued for Guadeloupe, Dominica, St. Kitts, and Nevis, and Montserrat. A hurricane watch is now in effect for the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Barts, Saba, St. Eustatius, and Anguilla. Some of the islands are hit by Hurricane Irma, the Category 5 storm which left at least 37 people dead and caused billions of dollars worth of damage, earlier this month. In its latest update at 2100 hours GMT on Sunday, the NHC said Maria had maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. 120 km per hour, and was expected to cross the Leeward Islands on Monday night. The eye of the storm is 140 miles east-northeast of Barbados.